Hello, water is a big chapter. We have quite a few topics to discuss in this chapter, but it's a very fascinating chapter. And we have a bunch of things to learn about freshwater, about marine ecosystems, how the ocean currents work, about the frozen water and the sustainable use, and how to make the water clean, a bunch of topics. And this is our chapter learning outcomes. And after we learn this chapter, we are going to be able to describe how water cycles on Earth, understand groundwater and surface water are important and related to each other, and identify how humans impact the availability and the quality of fresh water, and recognize that most of the fresh water is frozen on the planet. At last, we are going to understand most of the Earth's water is salty ocean water and explain the importance of the ocean circulation and the currents. So this is my organization of this chapter. I'm going to briefly discuss the ethics inspired by the properties of water, and I call it a philosophy of water. I'm going to do the second part as science study of water, and the third part as social studies of the water. So in my science topics, we're going to learn what is hydrologic cycle, and ocean currents in the marine systems, cryosphere, freshwater ecosystems. So these are all the science, biology, geological properties of the water on the planet. Then I'm going to discuss the social studies of water. That's the conflicts and the global water issues and the local water issues. So the first part, I'm going to briefly talk about water. So in our Chinese culture, about 500 to 600 years before the century, there is a great philosopher called Lao Tzu. He wrote books and beautiful essays and poetry, and he is one of the greatest ancient philosophers in Chinese history. So I put in the green font here, and this is truth persisting thousands of years. What he said here is 上善若水. That means the best of the best. If we want to know the best of the best, the kindest of all kind, we should look at water. Another great philosopher, Confucius, I think more people probably familiar with this one. And he was born a little bit later than Lao Tzu. And what Confucius did was he took his students and went to a big river, observed the river, and talk about the river, talk about the water, and then he wrote a beautiful essay. This means Confucius discussion about water. So basically what he wrote in his essay, and we Chinese people love about his essay for thousands of years, is the virtues and the ethics we can learn from observing water. So to summarize, what's good about water? 夫水大便于诸生而无为也，四德. Water is universal, supporting all lives without preference. Selfless. So water is selfless. 其光光乎不觉尽，四道. Water never ends. Liveness in shallow, deep, immeasurable. That symbolize wisdom. 若有觉行之，其应气若声响，其复百仞之鼓不惧。百仞之鼓, that means the valley of hundreds of feet deep. 似涌, 似 means like. 涌 means braveness. So water is very encourages. If you observe water, water has no fear. Water jumps into the valley without any fear, right? And what happened afterwards? A waterfall. That's splendid and beautiful. So one of the virtues of water, Confucius said, is very, very brave and very courageous. 主量必平四法. Water has an even surface. No matter where you put water, the surface is even. That symbolizes fair and justice. 绰约微达似察. Cha means observation. Water seeps through everything, and the water is meticulous. 其万者也必东似至. One means 10,000. 折 means curving, folding. 也必 means must. 东 means east. So eventually water goes to the east. No matter how the landscape is, how we humans and the biological organisms on the surface of the planet affect water, eventually water goes to the east. So this symbolizes the determination. So no matter what happened, water has a final goal. And no matter what happens, it achieves its goal. The other virtue is humble, right? Water always go lower, not higher. Strong yet gentle. In our culture, we say ladies are like water and the gentlemen are like fire. And I totally agree with that. And if I do not feel like I'm woman enough as a mom or as a wife, I just go take a look at the water and meditate on the water and try to mimic water, and that in that way I would greatly improve. Pure yet incubating lives. And what we say, actually we say that only dirty incubates fish. But as humans, we need pure water to drink. So that's a little bit romantic stuff, some philosophy about water.